allowing women in combat makes a more effective military force. I do not agree. And for more clarification on today's round, I would like to offer the following definitions, though I'm pretty sure you guys have your own definitions and know what the words mean. The word combat, from freedictionary.com, the definition is to oppose in battle or fight against. The word effective, also from freedictionary.com, is producing a strong impression or response. The word woman, from freedictionary.com, is defined as an adult human female. The word allowing, from freedictionary.com, some of you guys already know. So, first I'd like to start with my first argument, directly debating Matt's argument. A larger military force does not improve results, and that is what I firmly believe, and what a lot of different examples would tell you. And I would like to say that some reasons for me making this, let's say, claim, is that larger units take more time to train and manage, which obviously means putting more production into an stable product. An unfair balance in deployments, which means that some units would have more members than others and therefore be unequal. And the less communication between units, because there's so much backup between so many members in each unit. If you keep adding members, that means there's less communication between each member, which could potentially endanger lives. So, I have a question. Will men be taken out of the unit to accommodate more women, or just would the unit be made larger? And as I say, larger units are not more effective, which is what this debate is centered around. It's whether the military would be more effective. And I just like to name out some examples of larger units that have failed. The Persian army outnumbered their counterparts by millions and still lost. The U.S. Army in the Vietnam War may not have lost, but was taken aback by guerrilla tactics, which brought down their fighting force. The 26th North Carolina Regiment in the Civil War, which outnumbered their Union regiment that they were facing by at least 400,000. And the French Army during the 7-Year War, which outnumbered the English by at least 1 million. The German Army in World War II against the Russians, and many more. And I have received this from Marxist.org. Now,
see, Andy, there's your communist.
Now, the second thing I'd like to say is that there are many differences between them. And I just like to read you off something real quick. Military men are hospitalized more than their female peers for injuries and poisonings, muscular system disorders and connective tissue disorders, skin tissue disorders, and military women were hospitalized more than men for genital disorders, mental disorders, and tumors. And I got this from nationtime.com. Now, there are many physical differences between men and women, as we could all, no one would argue against that. Men are seen as physically stronger, though women through vigorous training can become just as strong as some men, but not in the case of just overall male to female, just comparison. There is some fact between, you know what, let me move on to my next one, because I'm just going to combine arguments right now. So, I'd like to read you a quote. You can tell the strength of a nation by the women behind its men. I would like to say that women are indeed strong, and that women do have a sense of duty. But before I begin, let me read you all something else. And that America is a land where the men govern, but women rule. And one would not argue that women are generally seen as kinder, gentler, more nurturing, and have an inner strength, unlike men. And I like to say, for all purposes aside, my first argument is that women are just too awesome for combat. And what I mean by this is that women are the backbone of society. And I do think that in these units where men and women would fight together, there are complications with that, because there's a masculine attitude in each unit that would be affected by a female's presence. As I said before, tradition of wanting to protect a man, or tradition of wanting to protect a female, tradition of just the sense of basically protecting, and the fact that in each unit, the male we see, our men might see the woman as, see her as sexual, which would hinder their battle prowess. They might see, just a different side, that she's lesser than them, and that's just the general male attitude. So that would disrupt effectiveness in a unit. And as I said before, just let me wrap up real quick, that a larger unit has been proven by history to be less effective without more of a strategic approach. And the fact that there is a culture in America that would place men and women in different categories.